Hey everyone, so in this video what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how these final projects work. And basically I've done most of the work for you and all you need to do is work with the WISE project. So we're going to work with the final project one, which is the Angry Bots, but most of them follow this same pattern. So you can kind of watch this video and then get an understanding of how you need to go ahead and implement your own music inside whichever one you chose. So I'm going to open up a project. I downloaded it and I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to first open it up in Unity, and here it is here. Open that up. And this is the Unity demo, and there is the WISE already installed for you. And if we look at the events within the WISE, these are the ones I've set up. And so these are all the hooks that basically can call WISE events. So let's open up the WISE session and see how all this stuff can communicate back and forth. So I'm opening up WISE, and I'm going to open up the project in the corresponding folder. So I'll go open other, go back over to my desktop, and each project that I posted has a WISE project template right in the highest level of the asset not the asset directory, but the primary Unity folder. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up that WISE project. And we're going to look at it here. Now, over in Unity, you saw that I have all these events set up. And each one of these events corresponds to a different event that actually happens in the world. For instance, level start is called when the level starts, right? And then each one of these other ones, like hack one, is a special part in the level where you've completed a computer hack that basically opens up a door, right? And I have these other ones in here, level part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which for this game in particular, you pass into a new section, like through a new door, and then I trigger level part 1 or level part 2. I also have some other ones in this one, like enemies clear and enemy active, meaning enemy active means that enemies are attacking you, and enemies clear are when all the enemies have either been taken care of or something like that. And then I do have some other things too, which you can't see in here, but we'll look at them over in WISE. So over in WISE, if you go to the Events tab and look at the events, here are all the corresponding events. And you can do whatever you want with these. So level start right now plays the game level start playlist. And I just have over in the audio tab, I've created one playlist. And so this is the only thing it does right now. In fact, many of the other events right now are just clear. They don't do anything. But you could have them choose, you could choose to do anything that you want to. You can set a state, you can set a game parameter, and do whatever you want. So if I was approaching this project, the Angry Bots, I know that at different parts of the level where you go into a new room or you go into a new section, I have level part 1, 2, 3. I may want to set up a switch on those. So for instance here, what I could do is create a music switch container, and that music switch container would have multiple music states in it, which would be playlists. So I'll just put a couple in here. And one could be for part 1 and one could be for part 2. Okay, and then I would create my own music switch. Or state. Let's do state. I kind of like state. It's better. It's state group, and we'll call this level state. And then within the level state, we'll have part 1, part 2, part 1, and part 2. And once the music is going with the start event, the level start here, what we could do with part 1 is then change our state to set our state. We'll browse for that and find our state here. Oops, I'm browsing for the wrong thing. I want to set our state down here, sorry. So level state and then part 1. And that would then go affect your switch. I haven't set up the switch yet, but let's go to interactive music layout. and then go ahead and select our player state, our level state. And then part 1 would be the first playlist, and part 2 would be the second playlist, and stuff like that. Now again, I haven't built these playlists, there's nothing in them yet, but that's basically how you're going to get started. You're going to look at the event list and you're going to build out your Wwise session, so when you go back to the Unity project and you start playing the game, everything's going to be laid in. So you basically don't have to do anything in Unity if you don't want to. But you could, for instance, create a trigger somewhere in the level and then drag the event to that trigger if you wanted to. So for instance, if I go over here and just go ahead and create an empty game object. Actually, better yet, I'll do it exactly the same way that I did it for you guys. I'll create a 3D object, which is a cube that sits in the world someplace, right? And I'll make it a trigger and drag an event to it. So I can take this event here and drag it to this, and I can add a rigid body. Because it's just music, I don't need a rigid body, but what it's going to do is play level part 4. We don't want it to play on start, we want it to play on trigger enter. And then it's likely that you want to make it disappear in the world. Right now it exists in the world and you can see it in the world. I can sort of zoom in and get to it and see it in the world. And if I want to get rid of it, I can turn the mesh renderer off. I can just go like that, and then it will disappear out of the world. Now, I think it's below my world, which is why we're not seeing it. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is there. It's below my world, so I have to like raise it up into the world. Oops. There it is. So, and let's kind of move over here and bring it back, and there I can see my cube in the world. Oops. My 3D buttons are not working very well. I should have used a 3D mouse. That would have helped me a little bit. Okay, there we go. And there's my cube, and right now the mesh renderer is off. Oops, what did I do? I went backwards. Let's go ahead and double click on my cube. There it is. If I put the mesh renderer on, then I'll see it in the world. Otherwise, I won't see it in the world, but I'll still be able to collide with it, and it will actually trigger this event. Okay, so again, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to basically go to the Events tab within Wwise and apply, when the boss is active, what do you want to happen? Do you want it to set an RPTC, for instance, to raise in a track, like a track level? You can do anything you want, basically, by customizing these events, and then once you're ready, you can export your sound bank by going to the sound bank layout here and then choosing your sound bank. There it is with all my events in it, and going ahead and generating those. And once you generate all that stuff, then you can go back over to Unity and then play it in level, and everything should work. So you don't have to do a lot of work in Unity. Unity's kind of all set up for you. So all you basically need to do, I'm going to go to my player here in the world, and so you can set up this, and then when you hit play, everything should work fine. So in this, I have a little bit of Strauss music playing at the front here. Basically how that's working is I've already included a specific command to go over to Wwise and call the level start command. So if I look at the designer window again, it's basically playing the game level start playlist, and you can customize it to whatever you want. And in the game level 1 start playlist, I have a little bit of Strauss playing. And that's it. So good luck with your projects. I hope you have a good time. Most of your work, again, is going to be in Wwise, so you don't have to do anything with your project. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, RPTCs. For each game, I have a little bit of RPTCs that you can control. For instance, in this one, it's number of enemies active. But in other games, it might be like the timer, or it might be enemy proximity to the character. This one also has player health, and you can apply these to RPTCs, for instance, over in the, if I go back into the interactive music layout, like this, maybe I want to take this track and I want to use the player health, for instance. So what I'm going to do is choose player health to affect voice volume. So I'll go ahead and choose player health, and then as the health goes down, maybe so does the music. And that's how I use that. So anyways, good luck on your projects. Looking forward to hearing your stuff, and let me know again if you have any questions as you start putting this stuff together. All right, take care.